Welcome to this recording of the true experience of spiritual ecstasy. This profound discourse was originally delivered by Paramahansa Yogananda at the Self-Realization Fellowship International Headquarters in Los Angeles, California, on December 16, 1934. We are honored to share his divine insights and timeless wisdom with you today. God has given us the power of spiritual inspiration, realization of the pure bliss of his presence within us. But the evil force in creation has invented spurious imitations. The temporarily exhilarating effects of alcohol and drugs are counterfeits of true spiritual experiences. The use of alcohol and drugs frequently leads to overindulgence in sex, which shuts out the power of spiritual inspiration by tying the mind to intense body consciousness. Many people take wine to banish sad or unpleasant memories and worries, but that kind of forgetfulness robs man of his native soul wisdom, the very power by which he was meant to overcome his trials and to find lasting happiness. God, being joy itself, wants us to seek and to find, within our souls, his ever-new bliss. The counterfeits are harmful, for they are the lures of Maya, the cosmic delusive force that is ever trying to mar all the beautiful expressions of God in this universe. Throughout creation, we see the dual forces of good and evil opposing each other. God created love, the satanic force created hate. God created kindness, the satanic force created selfishness. God created peace, the satanic force created disharmony. Knowing this, you should realize that alcohol and drugs are detrimental to your happiness. They obliterate the real joy and intelligence of your soul. Even one drink or one indulgence in drugs may start a permanent habit, because there may be such a tendency already embedded in your subconsciousness from past lives. What is evil should always be shunned as evil. The wine of spiritual ecstasy is incomparable. Once you have tasted the wine of spiritual ecstasy, you will find that no other experience can compare with it. Ever strive to establish the divine consciousness in your children by teaching them to meditate, that they be not tempted to play with the fire of delusive, counterfeit joys. Sacred bliss is never-ending, but the pleasures that come from alcohol and drugs are short-lasting and ultimately bring misery. While you are in deep slumber, God makes you live in the tranquil superconsciousness, in which all the fears and worries of this existence are forgotten. By meditation, you can experience that holy state of mind when you are awake and be constantly immersed in healing peace. When the divine joy comes, immediately my breath is still and I am lifted into the spirit. I feel the bliss of 1,000 sleeps rolled into one, and yet I don't lose my ordinary awareness. This is universally the experience of those who go deep in the superconscious state. When the profound ecstasy of God falls over you, the body becomes absolutely still, the breath ceases to flow, and the thoughts are quiet, banished, every one by the magic command of the soul. Then you drink of God's bliss and experience an intoxication of joy that not 1,000 draughts of wine could give you. As the ordinary person drowses on the borderline of sleep, he feels a little happiness, but he quickly loses that awareness and is fast asleep. Sleep is not total unconsciousness, for when you awaken, you always know whether you slept well or not. There are various kinds of sleep, some light and some deep. But more intoxicating than even the most blissful slumber are those spiritual experiences one may have consciously with God. Beyond the mysteries of the sleepland lie all these divine joys. I can remain in any state I wish to. Often I stay between the sleepland and the awareness of the world, in the superconscious state. Consciousness has a limitless span. Your mind has a limitless span, but you do not realize it. I can go into the depths of sleep and enjoy the sleep state, and at the same time be with the world. Or I can sleep and dream, and at the same time also hear everything that is going on around me. Sometimes I sleep just as the ordinary person does, and again, I can sleep and consciously watch myself sleeping. In the superconscious state, you can see that your body and mind are sleeping and yet have total awareness of all happenings. This is possible only when you have developed the ability to enter at will the superconsciousness and return at will to the ordinary state of mind. You need never worry that by meditation, or by imagination, or by the practice of inner silence, you may go out of the body and fail to return. That idea is entirely false. The Maya-induced attachment to the body is so powerful that you can't escape from it that easily. Even if your ordinary waking awareness is obliterated, so long as your subconscious mind remains tied to the body, you cannot leave it permanently. What is the proof of self-realization? If you imagine something very strongly, it becomes visible as a hallucination, having no intrinsic reality. You should understand the difference between imagination and self-realization. The essential proof of self-realization, of God's consciousness in you, is to be truly and unconditionally happy. If you are receiving more and more joy in meditation without cessation, you may know that God is making manifest His presence in you. If there is a break in the flow of divine happiness, then there is something wrong in your consciousness, some kink that needs to be removed with the help of your guru. By maintaining steady communion with Him through daily meditation and by following His precepts, the sadhana He has given you, He will straighten out that kink for you. You cannot be with the Lord just by thinking you are divinely enlightened. You must improve yourself. You must perfect yourself. There is a lot of difference between the potential realization of God and the actual realization of God. You can never know Him except through humbleness, wisdom, and devotion. The humble man is the one who will know God. Those who go deep in the superconsciousness automatically develop unusual spiritual powers and control over natural forces. But no man of true God consciousness ever uses his powers unwisely for egotistical display. Sages realize that the Lord is the sole doer, and humbly return to Him the extraordinary gifts He has bestowed on them. Is not everything in the universe a miracle? By his mere existence, is not man a miracle? If human beings are not satisfied with all the wonders that God has created, why should His saints perform further miracles? They never do, unless, for some special reason, often an unfathomable one, the Lord so commands them. I will illustrate how the superconsciousness differs from the subconsciousness. The superconscious is that state in which you can consciously, during wakefulness or sleep, produce any sensation in your body at will without any external stimulus. That is the proof. In the subconscious dreamland, you can drink a glass of hot milk, but this experience comes to you unbidden. In the superconscious state, you can create that or any other experience consciously and at will. Unless you are able to do this, do not delude yourself that you have reached superconsciousness. Millions of devotees never get beyond the kaleidoscope of the subconscious mind, which manifests its wonders mostly during sleep. But in the superconscious state, you can see or know anything that you wish to, not by imagination, but in reality. I can sit in this chair and transfer my mind to India and see exactly what is going on in my old home there. The advancing devotee progresses through 3 stages of spiritual awareness, the sacred trinity. First, he experiences superconsciousness, oneness with the creative power in creation. Next comes Christ consciousness, merging in the infinite intelligence within creation. Finally, he attains the highest cosmic consciousness, the truth beyond creation, the ineffable absolute. Sometimes a devotee dwells in the subconsciousness. Sometimes he is lifted to superconsciousness and to Christ consciousness. And a few great souls are able to go beyond Christ consciousness into cosmic consciousness, the realm of causeless spirit. In the Christ-conscious state, you don't have to visualize things first in order to experience them. You don't have to picture India. You are there. You are aware of all creation. That experience is an endless expansion of consciousness. You are in the blade of grass and on the mountaintop, and you can feel every cell of your body and every atom of space. But cosmic consciousness is beyond even that. When you can feel your presence in all creation and also know the joy that is beyond creation, then you are a godlike being. As we conclude this discourse on the true experience of spiritual ecstasy, let us take to heart Paramahansa Yogananda's profound teachings. True spiritual bliss, far beyond the fleeting joys of worldly indulgences, is found in deep meditation and communion with the divine. This sacred ecstasy brings an incomparable joy, stillness, and expansive awareness that no material pleasure can offer. By seeking God's presence within, we can elevate our consciousness and experience a state of ever-new bliss, transcending the limitations of the body and mind. Thank you for joining us, and may the divine joy and peace of God be with you always.